Welcome back to the Deep Dive. We're here to really get into the source material, pull out what matters, and give you those insights. Today, we're tackling something pretty fundamental for organizations now, this crisis of control, in the digital world.
Yeah, it's a big one. More than just a dilemma, really. It feels like a critical choice for ages. If you wanted a community, online customers, partners, even employees, you had these two really tough options.
Stark choices, yeah.
Exactly. Option one, you basically rented space. You use those giant public platforms, the big social networks everyone knows.
And renting means giving up control, right? You don't control the experience, the algorithms change constantly, and maybe worst of all, you don't own the data. Your own community's data. Precisely.
You're just building value for someone else's platform. But then option two wasn't much better.
The build-it-yourself nightmare.
That's the one. A massive, super expensive, years-long internal project. We're talking huge investment, specialized engineers, just to build the basics of, real-time social features.
Right. And that's not just the initial cost. It's the ongoing headache. The technical debt. You're suddenly maintaining this complex social platform that's not even your core business. Who wants that?
Nobody, really. It just doesn't scale for most companies. Finding and keeping those specialized engineers, very tough.
Okay, so that sets the stage perfectly, that agonizing build versus buy choice. And that's why today, our mission is to explore the solution that's really emerging to get around this. Social networks as a service.
SNaaS. SNaaS.
Yeah. And specifically, we're going deep on Tribemaker, which is an initiative from Linkspreed, right? Designed exactly to tackle this tech and strategy gap.
That's it. And the big idea behind Tribemaker, behind SNaaS in general, is basically reclaiming your digital independence, your sovereignty.
Okay.
Tribemaker gives you the whole tech stack you need for a social network, but it's delivered as a service managed for you, so organizations can finally own their digital community space.
Own it outright.
Totally. Full control over the experience, setting the rules, reinforcing their brand, and, crucially, owning all that valuable data their community generates. You stop being just a participant, a tenant, really.
Subject to rent hikes and rule changes.
Exactly. And you become the landlord of your own exclusive digital place.
Owning your digital real estate. I like that framing.
Yeah.
It really gets to the heart of why SaaS feels like such a shift. So let's unpack the tech underneath this. When we say SNaaS, what are we really talking about? It's got to be more than just embedding a widget, right?
Absolutely. Miles beyond widgets. SNaaS is, you could say it's the next step in cloud software, but it's specifically built for social features, deeply integrated ones.
So not just a comment box add-on.
No. Think of it as a complete engineered stack. It handles all the complex stuff, the data structures, the feed algorithms, real-time updates, permissions, all the tricky bits of running a social network delivered via the cloud.
Okay, the architecture sounds key here because, embedding third-party stuff often feels clunky, slows things down, doesn't match the brand. You mentioned Tribemaker uses a decoupled architecture. What does that actually mean in practice? For the user, for the company using it?
Right, this is the critical difference, technically. It's delivered as a fully decoupled system, mostly through APIs, application programming interfaces, and SDKs, software development kits.
Okay, APIs let systems talk to each other.
Correct. But decoupled here means the social features aren't stuck in some separate app you have to redirect to, or jammed into an iframe that feels slow and looks weird.
So it doesn't feel like this heavy thing loading separately from the main site or app.
Exactly that. The social stuff becomes an intrinsic, a native part of the host application. The heavy lifting, like figuring out what goes in your feed based on tons of data, that happens on the Linkspreed backend. But how it looks, how the user interacts, that's controlled by the client's own front-end code.
So you get the power without the clunkiness.
Precisely. No bolted-on feeling. The look, the feel, the user flow, it's all controlled and themed by the organization. Total brand consistency. But the complex engine underneath managing users, syncing data in real time, ranking content, Tribemaker handles all that seamlessly.
That seamlessness must define where you can actually use this. If it's API first, it's not just for like a public community website.
That's the strategic flexibility. You can weave this social layer right into your core operations wherever ongoing engagement actually drives business value.
Okay, give me some examples. Where does this really shine?
Well, think about a typical customer portal. Usually it's just for transactions, right?
Okay.
Pay a bill, log a support ticket.
Pretty dry, yeah.
Now integrate Tribemaker. Suddenly, it's a collaborative space. Customers helping each other solve problems, sharing workarounds, maybe even flagging issues collectively. You shift from costly one-to-one support towards peer-to-peer knowledge sharing.
Which has got to save money on support costs using your power users.
Huge potential savings, absolutely. Or think about e-learning platforms, professional training sites.
Right. Often quite a solitary experience. Just watching videos.
Exactly. Add SNaaS, and it becomes social. Learners form study groups right there, connect with instructors, share extra resources. We see this boosting completion rates, making the whole thing feel more valuable.
Makes sense.
And then there are internal platforms for big companies, global enterprises. SNaaS can help break down those silos, connect employees who have specific knowledge, no matter where they are physically located, finding that expert quickly.
Okay, so the tech is powerful, flexible, integrated. Let's pivot then to the core strategic advantages. This is where the business case for TribeMaker SNaaS really comes into focus, beyond just the tech specs. Why this approach over those old, flawed options?
Well, the sources we looked at really highlight 4 big ones. 4 key advantages that give businesses a real competitive edge today.
All right, let's tackle the first one, the one that feels absolutely critical now. Guaranteed data ownership and privacy.
This is fundamental. Everything else kind of builds on this. When you use a public social platform, you're basically feeding their data machine. They own the profiles, the connections, the behavior patterns.
You're the product, essentially.
Pretty much. With TribeMaker SNaaS, it's the opposite. All user data, every click, every post, every interaction belongs exclusively to the organization hosting the community. The moment a business gets that all this community intelligence is theirs, the value is just crystal clear.
Owning the data turns the community from just a cost center, maybe a marketing channel, into a genuine intelligence asset. Can you expand on that? What kind of business intelligence can you actually get when you own the data that you just can't get from a public platform?
Yeah, that's a great question because the difference is huge. On public platforms, you might get some generic, aggregated, anonymized trends, if you're lucky.
Vague stuff.
Right. On your own TribeMaker SNaaS platform, you get granular, specific, attributable intelligence. You can see exactly which user segments are discussing which product features. Say, 70% of questions in a specific tech group are about one tricky feature. Boom. That insight goes straight to product development as a priority.
Actionable, direct feedback.
Totally. Plus, you can identify your actual power users, your influencers within your network, understand their impact, reward them directly. Public platforms hide that data. It's too valuable to them.
And owning the data pipe must tie into compliance, too.
Absolutely critical link. We're in the era of GDPR, CCPA, you name it, strict data laws everywhere. Relying on the shifting, often opaque policies of giant public networks, that's a constant risk, a potential liability.
You don't really know what they're doing with the data.
Exactly. When you control the whole data flow via your SNaaS provider like Linkspreed, you can guarantee compliance, set specific data retention rules, handle data residency requirements properly. It provides a level of legal certainty that's just invaluable. Peace of mind.
That certainty flows nicely into the second advantage, which sounds purely economic. Unmatched speed and cost reduction. You argued against building in-house. It's more than just the upfront cost, right?
Oh, much more. It's avoiding that massive ongoing resource drain of building and maintaining social infrastructure yourself. And we're not just talking about a couple of app developers.
No.
You need really specialized people, database engineers who understand distributed systems, sharding for huge numbers of users, experts in optimizing real-time message queues, and maybe most importantly, folks dedicated to constant security patching, vulnerability management. That's a full-time, high-stakes job.
And those specialized engineers don't come cheap.
Not at all. Astronomical salaries. TribeMaker delivers all that core infrastructure, pre-built, tested, hardened, ready via APIs. So yes, it slashes that initial capital expenditure, the CapEx, big time. But I'd argue the long-term operational cost savings, the OpEx, are even bigger. You avoid having to staff and manage that large, permanent, specialized internal social engineering team. Linkspreed handles the maintenance, the security updates, the scaling challenges.
So the client's own tech team can focus on their actual core product.
Exactly. They can innovate on what makes them unique, not reinvent the social media wheel. It completely changes the total cost of ownership picture.
Okay, let me push back slightly, though.
Yeah.
If I use a big public platform, I also don't worry about maintenance. Their teams handle that. So isn't that similar? Why is SNaaS better financially than just using Facebook groups or something?
Ah, good point. But on the public platform, You're paying in other ways. You're paying with your data. You're paying with a compromised user experience, often cluttered with ads or irrelevant content. You're paying by being subjected to their rules and monetization.
Right, the hidden costs.
Exactly. SNaaS gives you that managed service benefit, no infrastructure headache, but with the control, the branding, the data ownership of an in-house build. But without the massive OpEx of actually building it. You're paying for a dedicated private tool focused solely on your needs, not renting a tiny corner in a giant, noisy public market square.
Okay, that clarifies the economic argument. Makes sense. Let's move to user perception. Advantage number 3, hyper-customization and branding. You mentioned the decoupled architecture helps here.
Absolutely. This is where it really pays off visually and experientially. When your community lives on a public platform, you're basically wearing their uniform. Your branding is a tiny logo, maybe a banner image. The whole experience feels generic.
You're just another page on their site.
Right. TribeMaker SNaaS flips that. It offers really deep theming capabilities, total control over the user interface and user experience.
What does deep theming actually mean, beyond just sticking my logo on it?
It's granular control. Every single element can be tailored. You decide the layout of a user profile, what fields are shown, where they go, not just the content. You control the feed logic. Maybe you want posts from verified experts to show up higher than posts from brand new members.
Okay, you can tune the algorithm.
Exactly. You can even customize the reactions. Get rid of the standard emojis if you want. Maybe replace with something industry specific like certified helpful for a technical community or action required for an internal project group.
Wow, okay. That level of detail ensures the look, the feel, the whole journey feels completely seamless with the main platform or product.
That's the goal. It creates this exclusive, trustworthy experience, reinforces the brand, it makes the community feel like a natural, integrated part of the core offering.
Not an add-on.
Never. If you're a bank, your community needs to look and feel secure, professional, solid. If you're selling craft supplies, it needs to feel creative, visual, helpful. This hyper-customization ensures the digital space is purpose-built for your strategy, not forced into some generic template.
Right, and the final strategic pillar, inherent scalability and reliability. Because if it falls over when you get popular, none of the other benefits matter.
Foundational strength. This is core to the SNaaS model from Linkspreed. The whole thing is built cloud native, meaning it's designed from the ground up for resilience, for elasticity. It can handle growth.
And building feeds that scale well is notoriously hard, right?
One of the toughest challenges in software, honestly, handling that rapid influx of data, retrieving it instantly for millions of users. TribeMaker is engineered for that.
So we're effectively buying performance guarantees.
You are. The system is designed for those sudden, unpredictable spikes in traffic. Think a big product launch or maybe a yearly virtual conference hosted on the platform.
Huge influx of users all at once.
Right. The source material stresses that performance stays optimal whether you have 10,000 users or 10 million users online at the same time. And importantly, Linkspreed handles the operations side, the infrastructure maintenance, the load balancing, the caching to keep things fast. The client gets enterprise-grade performance without needing a 247 global infrastructure team themselves.
Okay, that technical foundation, decoupled, scalable, reliable, it's impressive. And what's really interesting is how that translates directly into the features, the actual tools users interact with. It's not just a basic feed, is it?
Not at all. That's the beauty of it. The integrated feature suite isn't just bulletin board stuff. These are sophisticated engines driving modern, valuable interactions.
Let's start with identity, how users present themselves, dynamic user profiles, and identity management.
Right. In a business community, a generic profile like likes pizza, lives in London is pretty useless. TribeMaker SNaaS lets you customize the profile schema, the actual fields of data you collect. You're not stuck with basics. You can gather data that's vital for your business. Specific technical skills, professional certifications, which products they own or are interested in, maybe internal department codes, partner levels.
So the data becomes instantly useful for connecting people or targeting information.
Exactly. And it helps build identity within that specific community context. Profiles also include detailed activity timelines. You can see a user's history, their posts, the answers they've given, badges they've earned.
Like a reputation system.
Precisely. If I'm new and need help, I can quickly see who the community experts are by looking at their contribution history. That recognition really encourages people to keep participating with high-quality input.
Okay, makes sense. Next up, the heart of any social platform. Personalized activity feeds and timelines. You mentioned chronological feeds are basically dead now.
Pretty much, yeah. If it's not relevant, people just won't check it. TribeMaker uses a powerful personalization engine. It goes way beyond just time order. It's constantly ranking posts based on lots of factors.
Like what?
Things like, how relevant is this post to the interests listed in your profile? How strong is your connection to the person who posted it? Which groups are you active in? What topics are currently trending across the whole community? It's complex.
So it's smarter than just you liked product X before. It's more like people you trust who also like product X are talking about this specific problem right now.
That's a great way to put it. Exactly. The aim is stickiness. Making sure users consistently see stuff that genuinely matters to them, that drives up engagement, makes the platform a must-visit resource, not just an occasional stop, and that superior feed comes directly from owning and analyzing your own data graph.
Right. Now, managing large communities, they can get chaotic. Which brings us to sophisticated group and sub-community tools.
Yeah, you need good ways to segment and organize as you scale. TribeMaker allows for really flexible group creation, tailored to what the business needs. You could have huge public groups for general knowledge sharing, or private groups just for specific customer project teams, or even secret invite-only groups for, say, executive discussions or R&D projects.
And these groups aren't just labels, right? They're functional units.
They absolutely are. Each group acts like a mini network inside the larger one. It gets its own dedicated feed, its own library for files and images relevant only to that group's topic, and its own specific moderation rules and member permissions.
Ah, so you can delegate control.
Exactly. It lets a central admin team manage a huge, diverse community made up of potentially thousands of smaller, focused, active sub-communities. Much easier to manage, much more relevant for the members in each group.
Okay, finally, the actual interaction tools, rich engagement and media sharing tools. What does that cover?
It needs to meet or really exceed what people expect from public platforms now. So comprehensive support for interaction. That means rich text comments allowing formatting, links, even embedding images right in a comment.
Not just plain text.
Right. And diverse reaction types. We touched on this with customization, moving beyond just a like. Maybe defining reactions like agree, needs clarification, solution found.
Those specific reactions must provide fantastic data for analysis later.
Oh, incredibly valuable data points, yes. Plus, seamless uploading and hosting for all sorts of media, not just fuzzy images, proper HD video, large PDF documents, complex files relevant to the business.
And real-time communication.
Essential. Full support for reliable, private, one-to-one chat, and also multi-participant group chats for quick collaboration when synchronous conversation is needed.
Okay, so the tech is there, the features are rich. Now this is where, for me, it gets really strategic. How do you actually use this tech to build and sustain a healthy community? It's not just if you build it, they will come.
Not at all.
Then that.
Tech is the enabler, but strategy is crucial. And that's where the Linkspreed framework comes in. They offer this clear 5-step community building blueprint. It connects the organizational goals directly to the SNaaS technology features.
Ah, roadmap.
Exactly. It's the difference between just launching a platform and actually nurturing a thriving, valuable ecosystem over the long term.
Okay, let's walk through it. Step 1, platform customization. Building exclusive digital real estate. We touched on this. Making it feel native.
Right. This step is about leveraging those APIs and SDKs for that deep, seamless integration. No jarring transitions between the core product and the community. It has to feel like one unified experience.
Right.
But customization here goes beyond just the look.
You mentioned tailoring the experience earlier. User segmentation.
That's a key part of step 1.
Yep.
Configuring the platform so features and content are presented differently based on who the user is. Think about a big software company's platform.
Okay.
An external customer might primarily see forums related to getting support or using the product, but an internal engineer, they'd see different groups, maybe related to internal development discussions, beta programs, things customers shouldn't see.
Right, controlling visibility based on role.
Exactly. That segmentation maximizes relevance for everyone and keeps sensitive info secure. And reinforcing that structural consistency, the same fonts, colors, button styles, it all builds trust and reinforces that this isn't some random third-party site. It's part of the brand's official, valuable space.
Okay, step 1 is setting the stage properly. Step 2 sounds like kickstarting the activity, activating and incentivizing engagement features. How do you get people participating? Moving them from just looking to actually contributing.
This is where you lean into behavioral science. Gamification and recognition are key tools here. The tribemaker platform lets you set up sophisticated reward systems.
Like points and badges.
Exactly. Digital badges like verified expert or top contributor, leaderboards tracking who's most helpful or active, specific user ranks that confer status within that community. When someone gets positive recognition for helping someone else, they're much more likely to do it again. It creates a positive feedback loop.
So contributing isn't just altruistic, it's also about building social capital within this specific owned environment.
That's a great way to think about it, yes. But you also have to make it easy, especially for new people. Friction kills engagement. So dedicated onboarding is vital.
Guiding the newbies.
Gently, yeah. Using targeted prompts or visual cues, suggesting key first actions. Why not post your first question? Or join 3 groups relevant to your profile, or connect with one of our community ambassadors. Make it easy for them to get involved and see value quickly.
And you can't just wait for them to take the initiative, right? There needs to be some proactive prompting.
Absolutely. The system itself needs to be smart. Using notifications or maybe visual highlights powered by that personalization engine to gently pull users back into relevant conversations.
For example.
Well, if a discussion thread in a group relevant to a user's expertise seems stalled, maybe the platform could prompt a known expert in that area. Hey, looks like this question hasn't been answered yet. Can you help? It keeps the momentum going, prevents good discussions from fizzling out.
Okay, so step 2 gets people involved. Step 3 is about keeping it going. Content strategy, fueling the ecosystem. The outline mentioned 2 distinct content streams.
Yes, absolutely critical for a healthy, sustainable community. Content is the lifeblood. The first stream is organization-generated content, or OC.
Stuff the company puts out.
Right. But it needs to be exclusive, high-value stuff people can't easily get elsewhere. Think interviews with internal experts, sharing parts of the product roadmap early, publishing proprietary research data only within the community. This OC establishes the unique value. Why should someone spend their time here versus somewhere else?
Okay, OC is the magnet.
Yeah.
But if the company's the only one talking, it's not much of a community.
Exactly. That's why the second stream, user-generated content, UGC, is absolutely essential for daily life and scaling. The platform has to make it super simple for members themselves to ask questions, share their own expertise, upload relevant files, contribute solutions.
Let the community build the knowledge base.
Precisely. UGC drives that vital peer-to-peer interaction. The organization can't possibly create enough content for thousands or millions of users, but the users can, if the tools are easy and the incentives are right. UGC creates that living, breathing, constantly updated knowledge resource.
Got it. Content covered. Now, step 4 addresses something unavoidable in online groups. Active moderation and proactive governance. Keeping things civil and productive.
Trust and safety are non-negotiable. If the space feels toxic or chaotic, people will leave, value plummets. Tribemaker provides strong tools for both reactive and proactive approaches here.
Reactive first. Dealing with problems after they happen.
Yeah, the essentials. Things like easy ways for members to report problematic content anonymously, automated flagging based on custom keyword lists, profanity, spam terms, etc., and clear dashboards for administrators to quickly review flagged content, suspend users if necessary, and track actions taken. Fast response to bad behavior is key.
But just cleaning up messes doesn't build a positive atmosphere, does it?
No, that's where proactive culture shaping comes in. It's not enough just to punish rule breakers. You need to actively cultivate the kind of behavior you want to see by identifying and empowering community ambassadors or official moderators. Their role isn't just police, it's also host and facilitator. They actively welcome newcomers, model constructive discussion habits, maybe jump in to derail a conversation that's going off track, or gently guide people towards solutions. They set the tone. They make it feel welcoming and productive.
Creating the desired culture by example and encouragement.
Exactly. That proactive element is crucial for long-term health and quality.
Okay, which brings us to the final step, closing the loop. Step 5, data analysis and continuous improvement. This comes back to that core advantage. Owning the data means you can learn from it.
Right back to the start. The community isn't just a communication channel, it's a constant source of intelligence. Because you own the data via the SNaaS platform, you get full access to granular analytics. You're tracking key performance indicators.
KPIs.
Like what specifically? Core community health metrics. Daily active users, DAU, monthly active users, MAU, basic activity levels, but also things like content contribution rates. Are people actually posting or just lurking? And crucially, member retention rates. Are people sticking around long term?
How does tracking that raw data lead to better decisions? How is it different from, say, looking at Facebook group stats?
Because the data is richer, attributable, and tied directly to your business context. You perform continuous, focused analysis. Take content performance analysis. You can see precisely which topics, which groups, even which formats of content, like videos versus text posts, generate the most sustained engagement or lead to the quickest problem resolution.
So you learn what resonates.
Exactly. If you see a huge spike in discussion around a competitor's new feature announcement within your community, that's immediate, actionable market intelligence you can take straight to your strategy team. You wouldn't get that specific insight from a public platform's generic analytics.
And you mentioned the qualitative side too, sentiment analysis.
Yes, super important. Moving beyond just the numbers, monitoring the overall tone of discussions. Are people generally happy, frustrated, confused? Are there recurring pain points being mentioned?
So you can catch problems early.
Before they blow up into major issues. If sentiment starts dipping around, say, a specific customer support process discussed in the community, the company can see that trend in real time and proactively fix the process, not wait weeks for survey results. This constant loop, analyze the own data, adapt the strategy or platform, refine the experience. That's the engine for long-term sustainable value from the Tribemaker network.
Wow. Okay, that's been a really thorough deep dive. We've covered the tech, the strategy, the features. It seems clear that Tribemaker SNaaS, as this Linkspreed initiative, isn't just a tool, it's a whole framework, giving organizations the tech and the plan to really scale and manage their own communities effectively.
It really is a complete package, a blend of smart technology, operational efficiency, and clear strategic thinking. The big takeaway: Tribemaker SNaaS provides everything needed to build, grow, and importantly own these highly customized social communities that deliver real, measurable, and proprietary business value.
So thinking about our listeners, what does this really mean for you? Well, it suggests the future of digital engagement is shifting. Moving away from those rented spaces on public platforms where you give up control and data and moving towards owned, customized, controlled digital territories, the power is shifting back to the organization.
They get to set the rules, design the experience, and decide how to use that incredibly valuable community data for their own competitive advantage.
Which leads us perfectly to our final thought for you to chew on.
Yeah, something to consider. If owning your data, ensuring compliance, having that direct community insight, if that's becoming the new standard for competing effectively in the digital world, then how long can organizations afford to keep building their communities on third-party platforms? How quickly will they realize that their most valuable, most sensitive asset, the collective intelligence and sentiment of their user base, is currently generating value primarily for someone else? The pressure to move from being a digital renter to a digital owner? It feels pretty immediate, doesn't it?
A very compelling question to end on indeed. A big thank you for walking us through all of that, and thanks to all of you for joining us on this deep dive. We'll catch you next time.